Hello, I'm Ryan Williams, Chairman of the House Republican Caucus. I have with me today my good friend, one of the newest, if not the newest member of the House Republican Caucus from Wilson County, Clark Boyd. Clark, it's great to have you here.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you having me on here today.
Yeah, it's exciting. Every time I see your name on something, I think I always get have to get my bearings straight. I was like, okay, where's Boyd from? So it's great to have you here. Now I'm not as confused as I was before, but of course I get an opportunity to drive through your district quite a bit, and I'm going to ask you a question about that in a minute. But for those who might not know Clark Boyd, tell us a little bit about your district, what it encompasses, and those kinds of things, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. So I live in Lebanon, Tennessee. That's the county seat of Wilson County. Mm-hmm. Wilson County is a county that in the State House of Representatives is split. Susan Lynn represents the western side, Mount Juliet. Mm-hmm. I represent the rural half of the county, which is Lebanon and Watertown. And my district also picks up Cannon County, which is where Woodbury is, and just a little bit of DeKalb County. Yes. I mean, just a small portion of DeKalb County is in the district.
A trifecta of counties.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if I was coming through the trifecta in a few weeks, or actually I'm going to drive through there on my way home, and it might be lunchtime, where would you say, Ryan, this is where you need to eat? This is quintessential district food. Where would you tell me to go?
Well, Ryan, it's interesting that you asked that question, and I've got two answers for you. And I absolutely, first and foremost, have to say that you need to go to Cracker Barrel, because Cracker Barrel started in Lebanon, Tennessee, and we employ a lot of people at our corporate office there, have a huge campus, and so I would encourage you to spend some money at Cracker Barrel there in Lebanon if you stop by. But if you want something outside of a chain restaurant like that, there's a good place called Sammy B's. And it's on the old Castle Heights Military Academy campus up next to City Hall. Uh-huh. And it is kind of a steakhouse. It's kind of a bar and grill, but it's locally owned. They have really good food, and they have a totally different menu at lunch. And it's a good place to. For some reason, the seating there, it seems like wherever you sit, it's kind of quiet, and they have a lot of glass. You can look out, and it's just a nice place.
Oh, wow, that's great.
But Cracker Barrel's great too. You should.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I was laughing the other day. I went to eat at a new place and for breakfast, and the food was fantastic, but it tasted familiar. And somebody was telling me about it's a new model that Cracker Barrel's doing. It's called Holler and Dash. You should check it out. Of course. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm not a food critic, but I do like to eat. But anyway, so one of the things I also like to tell people, of course, you're in the insurance business, have been doing that very successfully. You and Jada have your two children as well, but why would you tell, or what was the reason why Clark Boyd decided to run for office? I know it's a little bit different in that you're getting to run, but you've run before for elected office, but you were just recently appointed by the county commission. So why did you want to serve? Why did you go to and solicit all these votes from county commissioners and say, let me fulfill the rest of this term? So Tell people what the why is. Okay.
Well, Ryan, I appreciate that. You know, people run for different reasons. There are people that have one particular issue that motivates them to get in politics, or there's something that they want to change. With me, I think I'm just wired to be a servant, to serve in some capacity. I joined the Army National Guard when I was 18, when I was in college, and I served between it and the Army Reserve for about 11 years. And I'm passionate about service. I come from a family of civil servants, and after 11 years of service, I developed juvenile diabetes, and my military career ended. And when that happened, I just didn't know what I was going to do. I guess that desire to serve, I had to find something else to do, and I was praying a lot about it. And I just kind of feel like God, it's as if He told me, you can still serve, you just won't be wearing a uniform. And so about that time, that's when Obama became president. And like a lot of people, it was a wake-up call. Right. To Christian conservatives, Republicans everywhere. And I decided at that time that I needed to get involved. I had a younger family then, was young in my business and couldn't run at that time, but I kept an eye on it and served in county Republican politics. And then I did run for office back in 2014 unsuccessfully, but I learned so much about campaigning and about the process. And I really think it paved the way for me to get into the State House this go around. Right.
Well, you, of course, coming in, we were already in session when you got sworn in, so you've had to hit the ground running. I think it's been great, though, to see you in this environment. I mean, it's not every person that comes up here new, as I've seen over the last 8 years, comes in and they spend most of their days asking questions, finding out what's going on, procedurally trying to understand what's going on. It's been for me, it's kind of been a renewal to see you do that and remember what it's like to be the newest guy on the block and trying to find where the light switch is and what to do and what not to do. And so it's been very good to see you do that. And you've done it really well, communicate well with your members on some really good and important committees, I think, as well. But as it relates to your legislation, or is there something legislatively that you signed on to or that you're running yourself, something that you're passionate about right now, or maybe something that you're passionate about working on next year that you think is really important? So what might one or two of those things be? Sure.
So I did show up here a little bit late, and of course the bill filing deadline was a couple of weeks out, and I was trying to work on legislation. But as you know, that stuff usually is in works months before you get here. So there were a couple of bills that were signature for me, but I think the things that I'm the most proud of are bills that I have co-sponsored with people.
Right.
We're working with someone and just kind of learning what it means to be a state representative. What do you do? And along the way, I have signed on with some folks, and one of those is Representative Matlock's bill to outlaw once and for all any TennCare state money going for abortions here in Tennessee, and that's exciting. The other one is the work requirement bill, and there's two of them, the one for food stamps and the other one for TennCare. I think that is common sense. I in my previous life, I spent quite a bit of time on the board of directors of Habitat for Humanity, and I have a philosophy of giving people a hand up, not a hand out. And when I've talked to people about that, I've said, what's the worst thing that could happen if somebody gets a job? What, they don't need food stamps anymore, or maybe they get a promotion, get good health insurance, don't need TennCare? I've said, it's just, this is common sense, and I'm proud of those things. There are other things that I'm signed on to as well, but just to give you a short answer, those are probably the three things that I'm the most proud of.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you should talk about work requirements. I think it's interesting. I read the other day where it said the best entitlement or program the state or federal government do is give somebody a job. And there's a lot of truth to that. Just like you described, you're able to work your way out of a difficult situation. There are great stories about those kind of very things here in the legislature about where people have promoted themselves, even in your business, being able to grow a business from a young age. It's been really good to see. But, I'm really excited, and I think the caucus equally so is excited about your service here. This is just the beginning for you, and we're really excited to serve with you and advance those conservative principles like you're talking about with these bills that you've latched onto and helping see through, to both of which one's already been through the House and the other one's going to be there next week. And so we're really excited. But thanks, Clark, for coming, and look forward to serving out the rest of the term with you.
Thank you, Chairman Williams. Appreciate that.